Yeah.
So there are already more great artworks in the world than any human being could appreciate in a lifetime. Works capable of satisfying virtually any taste imaginable. Okay, so we're saying that there's more works out there than any single human being could ever appreciate. Like I could never go out into the world and appreciate everything because there's just too many. I
Yeah.
feel like this is the same for books. Like there's too many great books out there for me to get to appreciate all of them in my lifetime. Thus, contemporary artists, all of whom believe that their works enable many people to feel more aesthetically fulfilled than they otherwise could, are mistaken. So these, like, newbie artists who believe that their works will allow many people to feel more aesthetically fulfilled than they otherwise could. So like they're saying like, hey, I will make you more happy than any other artist will. Those
Mm.
artists are wrong. And so our conclusion here is that last sentence, right? So these contemporary artists who believe this are mistaken. And the reason we're saying that is because there's more great artworks in the world than any human being could ever appreciate. Do you think that's good reasoning?
Um,
But what if I said there's more great food out there than any human being could appreciate? So any new chef that thinks that they can hit your taste buds more than anybody else is wrong.
mm.
Is that
Like,
true?
no, like, what if you don't get to experience that, right? Like, what if you don't get to experience like the like?
The abundant wonders of out there, right? Or what if, yeah, all those things are great, but what if there's like one, I'm thinking about authors, like what if there's one author out there that's contemporary that is just my favorite? And I'm like, yeah, like that's better than anybody in the past ever.
Mm,
So I feel like this author is just assuming that like if you're great, like it doesn't matter who you are, like you're going to resonate with everybody to the same level, or that you have access. I really like how you picked up on that.
I
Like, yeah,
did.
maybe there's more there, but what?
I didn't pick up on it. It was LSAT demon.
Oh, I was like, oh, I was like, that's a good one. Yeah, you have to have access to it. Think about like there could be people that live in a certain part of the world that doesn't have access to all of this art. And so there could be a new artist that like comes up in that, area that does bring new abilities to people.
Hmm.
So how do we come up with this? Um, I think it's really hard in time sections to always make these predictions. So maybe this is one where you feel like you don't make a prediction and you flag and you come back and try it again untimed and you really sit there and force yourself to come up with a prediction.
Okay.
So then what answer do you like?
Um. So when I was doing it timed, I think I picked E.
Okay. Assumes that the number and variety of great artworks already in the world affects the amount of aesthetic fulfillment derivable from any contemporary artwork.
But like that doesn't make sense because we're not talking about like, oh, like my work is more fulfilling than your work, right?
Yeah, and we're not saying that the number out there changes how much a different work can provide happiness. We're just saying it's not needed.
Yeah.
All
Um.
right.
And then D is just overlooks the possibility that the work of at least one contemporary artist is appreciated by many people whose access to the great majority of other artworks is severely restricted. Like, what does that exactly mean?
So it's saying, okay, so overlooks the possibility. So it doesn't think about the fact that the work of one contemporary artist, so the work of like one of these contemp artists, is appreciated by many people who don't have access to all that other artwork you talked about.
Hmm.
So if I lived in a really rural area in my little town, maybe I'm the like here contemporary artist hero here. And everybody thinks I'm the best, but it's because there's no internet and no access to anything else in the world. So everybody uses my paintings to decorate their house, and I bring so much joy to people.
Yeah.
And that I'm not mistaken because my work does allow people to feel more aesthetically fulfilled than they would otherwise, because if I wasn't doing it, they would have no access to any of the great artworks in the world.
Yeah. I think what confused me for this question is like I didn't understand the conclusion as I guess like as I should have. Because I was confused like so like they're saying that contemporary artists who say that well, all of their work enable people to be more fulfilled are wrong. So it's wrong to think that. Yeah, I hate these
Yeah.
referential phrasing things like that. Piss me
Oh,
off.
yeah, and I love how they say like thus people that believe this, that think this will happen are wrong, where it's like multiple transitions.
Yeah, referential phrasing like literally like confuses me.
That's where I have to put it into my own words.
Yeah.
And so like that sentence I transitioned to, thus contempt artists that believe that their works allow people to feel more happy than they otherwise would are wrong.
So what is it? What are they saying then?
Um, so contemporary artists that think that they can, so essentially they're saying that the contemporary artists really can't, like there's, what our artist is saying is like, even if you took away these contemporary artists, like there would be no missing hole. Like these contemporary artists aren't filling a need that couldn't be filled elsewhere. Like they're
Hmm.
not special.
That's what our conclusion is, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, like they're not special because there's so much other stuff.
Yeah, like you aren't filling a need that otherwise couldn't be filled by someone else.
Mm, that makes sense. Okay.
Yay. And then A just says overlook doesn't consider that not all contempt artists believe. Yeah. So they
Yeah.
don't all believe this. That's we don't care about what the contempt artists believe.
No, the rest are fine. Could
Okay.
look out.